You know, when I basically put my eye on an electronic viewfinder, I feel this personal connection to my framing. Is the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro EVF really worth your money? And that is what we are going to talk about. And this video was requested by one of my subscribers. So I thought that was a good question because I remember when the Pocket 6K came out, the first thing that my AC sent me was a link to some extra or other EVF or electronic viewfinder because he knows I am not a monitor guy. So the first thing that we're going to talk about why I do use the EVF, also talk about why I like the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro EVF, and then at the end I'm going to tell you if it is worth it. And one thing that I can tell you, not like any other camera reviewer who just get this somewhere and then review it and tell you, I have been using EVF for the past 10 years and I can provide you a track record of me using all type of EVF, but not all type, basically what I could afford, because I don't really like monitors. So first of all, why don't you like monitors? So you know when your camera is on a tripod, right, and then that distance between your head and the camera, that to me, that is a barrier and that is a limitation. So I feel like I'm not really inside the image, I feel like I'm not part of the image. That is one reason number two. So you know, when I basically put my eye on an electronic viewfinder, I feel this personal connection to my framing. I feel like I'm inside the framing. So I need to give you a very good example. So let's say you are at home listening to the music on a very good speaker, right? Your sister is talking, your mother is talking, your neighbors are talking and doing some building at the same time. Also, there's some car passing by and you've got a plan. If they ask you, oh, did you listen to that small drum or bass or small guitar? You say no. Why? Because you're trying to take everything that's going on while listening to the music. So when you take on your headphone and you put them on to your ear, the experience change completely because now you are part of the music. So you start to notice and pick up the small drum, bass, a small instrument. Why? Because your whole body and soul is listening to that track. And for someone to speak to you, you can't really hear them unless they touch you and you'll be like, okay, cool, now you can talk to me. So that's what I feel. So basically, when I'm on set, there's everything going on and there's a crew, there's the casting, there's everyone, and then there's a sun or there's light hitting on to your monitor. And when you look here, so you're trying to look who's there, I can look at, see at the floor, and trying to just control, it does not feel authentic to me as a DP. But the story change when I look inside. I feel this type of focus where I close one eye and another one is literally focusing on composition, framing, camera angle, field of view, and everything else that matter to me as a DP. So I found myself is basically I've got different monitors and the follow focus or the focus puller have their own monitor, my AC have his own monitor, and he knows. He'll be like, yeah, come and check this, and I'll just look at his monitor and then I'll go back into the viewfinder and check my own composition. So another reason why I don't really use the monitor is that basically it gives me a very good point of contact with the camera. So when I hold the camera like this, it's just very easy to hold. Also, it gives you a perfect eye level with the shot or your composition. On the tripod, I feel like I can't really get a good eye level. And I'm also going to tell you one thing that I've not seen anyone complaining or talking about this, which is one thing that I don't really like. And the reason why they probably don't notice it because they don't really use the EVF that much. So now let's talk about the reason why I like the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro EVF. Reason number one, by the time you get this outside your box, right, you get the EVF and 4 different eyepiece, whether you use left or right eyes, you pick which one is best for you. Well, you might tell me, okay, well, every EVF has that. Well, it does, and it only have one that you flip around, which is good and bad, if you ask me. So another thing that I really like about this EVF is that to fix it on your camera, it's really easy. One screw and you're ready to go. Another thing that I like about it, it's very light and it's designed very good, and it's also affordable. So speaking about very light, and it's one piece that you put on top of your camera and you're ready to go. So there's been so many times where I'm filming and this fall off, right, because I just bump on it and then it fall off. And also another thing that I like about the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro EVF, you don't power this thing. Listen, put this onto your camera and you're ready. But with mine, the other one for the Pocket 6K Pro that I bought, you need to power this with a battery and then, you know, SDI cable, and then you need to find the right camera, and sometimes the signal is 1080p or 1080i depending on what camera you're using. And even when you select the zebra or peaking or anything, you literally have to press on these little buttons here. But with the 6K Pro, everything that you adjust from your camera, it literally sits here on your EVF. So that is another reason. Another thing that I really like about the setup is that basically from your screen, if you look at your screen, on one side you've got the sound or the audio information, and on the other side you've got the histogram. But when you look inside the viewfinder, from where the audio information is, you have then your resolution. So if you're shooting in 4K or 6K, you get to see that, which is very, very good. And from where your histogram is, when you look inside, there's your codec. If you're shooting Blackmagic RAW or ProRes, this could be good as a one-man band, because you know when you check out your screen, okay, I'm exposing with my histogram, that is really good. And then you check your sound information, yes, my sound is working perfectly, it's not peaking or it's not really hitting the red. And then when you look inside, you'll be like, well, I'm shooting at 4K at ProRes 422, which, you know, helps you to just, you know, check everything. Another thing that I like about this is that basically it's just affordable and you can get it for yourself if you want to. And there's one thing that I usually tell people: you need to decide what type of filmmaker you're going to become and start training for that. And so those are a few things that I really like about the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro EVF. But there's one thing that I've not seen anyone mentioning. You know the purpose of EVF, right? It's meant to be every position that you put your camera on. So you're shooting handheld, yes, a dope. You're shooting whichever position you're shooting. But I'm going to adjust my old one and then I'm going to show you. So basically, with the Pocket 6K Pro, when you're using your camera on a shoulder rig, and then we don't have an EVF, and that's something that I like doing a lot, because again, when I'm walking, I really want to have control. So that's why I still kind of shoot with this one. I'm going to adjust it a little bit and then I'm going to show you. So basically, it's a good EVF, but when you have your camera on a shoulder, it just doesn't work properly, because your camera might be here or might be here, and then you still need to use an arm and then use this one. And that is something that I've not seen anyone talking about, because they review this EVF just for reviewing the EVS. With me, I had to talk about it from user experience. So guys, if you want to get your hands on this EVF, it's a really good EVF. Also, basically, if you want to shoot better or want to expose your image better, you need to go onto your LUT and then enable your LUT or activate your LUT, because that way it gives you a very good saturated image inside your EVF that's going to help you to just pull focus or expose better. Another thing that I really like about this EVF is that it gives you a very close representation of how much your sensor is seeing the image. You know, with a monitor, sometimes they can be not calibrated or have like a tint or anything else, but with your EVF, you're seeing a very clean picture. So guys, that is one or more things or so many reasons why I like the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro EVF. Is it worth it? Yes, it does. And one thing that I need to tell you, so you know, on my YouTube, I'm not really the guy to review something because I just got it now and review it. I have to speak best on experience, because it's very easy to read something online and then rewrite it into your own words. But there's something that you cannot buy is experience, and everything that I've just told you is my experience using EVF. So I hope this video has been very helpful for you, and if you like it, make sure you subscribe.